This is Translated Works. Timeless texts brought into clear modern language.
Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Translated using artificial intelligence into a modern text. Part 1, Chapter 1. On a brutally hot evening in early July, a young man stepped out of the cramped attic room he rented on S Place and drifted toward Cambridge, moving slowly, like someone unsure whether he really wanted to go where he was headed. He had managed, once again, to avoid his landlady on the stairs. His room sat under the roof of a tall, 5-story building and was barely a room at all, more like a closet. The landlady lived on the floor below, and every time he left the building, he had to pass directly by her open kitchen door. Each time he did, the same wave of nausea and dread hit him. He was deep in debt to her and terrified of running into her. Not because he was weak or timid, quite the opposite. Lately, his nerves were shot. He was irritable, overstimulated, and sinking into something close to paranoia. He had withdrawn completely from other people and avoided everyone, not just her. Poverty crushed him, but even that had become abstract. He had stopped dealing with practical matters altogether. Bills, obligations, none of it felt real anymore. What he couldn't stand was being stopped on the stairs, being forced to listen to her pointless chatter, her complaints, her demands for money, having to invent excuses, to lie. That, more than anything, repulsed him. He would rather slink down the steps like a stray animal and disappear. But as soon as he reached the street, his anxiety spiked. "I'm planning something like that," he thought, smirking bitterly, "and I'm terrified of nonsense like this. Everything is within a man's control, and he gives it up out of cowardice. That's the rule. People are most afraid of one thing, taking a step they've never taken before, saying something new." He stopped himself. "I talk too much. That's why I do nothing. Or maybe I talk because I do nothing. I've spent a month lying around thinking about absurd things, fairy tale heroics. And now I'm going there? Why? Am I even capable of it? Is it serious? No, it's just fantasy, a toy." The heat was unbearable. The air was thick, lifeless, packed with dust, scaffolding, plaster, and that uniquely foul Petersburg stench, especially intense in summer for anyone too poor to escape the city. The smell of cheap taverns, the sight of drunk men wandering around in the middle of a workday. It all hit his already frayed nerves at once. Disgust flashed across his face. He was strikingly good-looking, tall, slim, dark-eyed, but his expression went blank as he walked, no longer seeing anything around him. He muttered to himself without realizing it. His thoughts tangled and unraveled. He was weak from hunger. He'd barely eaten in 2 days. His clothes were so worn that even someone used to poverty might have felt embarrassed wearing them. In this neighborhood, though, nothing stood out. Near the Haymarket, surrounded by laborers, tradesmen, drunks, and hustlers, no one looked normal. Still, the bitterness inside him ran so deep that he barely noticed his appearance, until someone noticed him. A drunken man riding past in a heavy wagon shouted, "Hey, German hatter!" and pointed at him. The young man froze and grabbed his hat. It was a tall, outdated hat, cheap, rusted with age, torn, bent, ridiculous. "I knew it," he muttered. "That's it. Something stupid like this ruins everything. It's too noticeable, absurd. People will remember it. That's the danger, being remembered. For something like this, you need to be invisible. Trifles ruin everything." He knew the distance to his destination exactly, 730 steps. He'd counted once, back when this idea was still just a reckless fantasy. Now, a month later, the fantasy felt disturbingly real. He told himself he was only going for a rehearsal. But with every step, his excitement grew sharper, darker. He reached a massive building facing the canal. It was packed with tiny apartments and working people of every kind. He slipped inside, relieved not to see any doorman, and climbed the narrow back staircase. The darkness calmed him. "If I'm this scared now," he thought, "what would I be like if I actually did it?" On the 4th floor, Movers were clearing out a family's apartment. Good, fewer witnesses. He rang the bell of the old woman's flat. It rang weakly, tinny, like something cheap and fragile. The sound unsettled him. The door cracked open. Two sharp eyes studied him. Seeing others on the landing, the old woman opened the door wider. She was small, shrunken, around 60, with piercing eyes and a hooked nose. Her hair was greased down. A rag was tied around her neck, and despite the heat, a filthy fur cape hung off her shoulders. "I'm Raskolnikov," he muttered quickly. "A student. I was here a month ago." She remembered. She always remembered. He said he'd come to pawn something. The room was neat, spotless, almost aggressively clean. Old yellow furniture, religious icons, cheap prints on the walls. "The sun will shine like this then too," flashed through his mind, uninvited. He handed her a silver watch. She undercut him immediately, insulted its value, counted interest with cold precision. He nearly left, but didn't. He couldn't. She went into the next room to get money. He listened, noted the keys, the locks, the chest. He took the coins, forced casual conversation, asked too casually whether she lived alone. She snapped back. He left in a daze. Outside, disgust overwhelmed him. "How could something like this even enter my head?" he whispered. "It's vile, filthy." He wandered blindly until he found himself outside a tavern. Without thinking, he went inside. He ordered beer, drank greedily. Relief came fast. "It's nothing," he told himself. "Just nerves, hunger. One drink and everything clears up." For a moment he believed it, but even then something inside him knew better. Like this video and subscribe to Translated Works for Part 1, Chapter 2 of Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky.